Hi everybody! Welcome to my channel. As you can see from the title of the video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about how I lost my confidence, more so how I lost my spark, and how I got it back. I'm hoping that this video reaches the right people. I'm hoping that if someone out there feels lost, or doesn't really feel like themselves anymore, like they feel like they might have lost their spark or anything like that, trust me, you're not alone. A lot of people out here are losing themselves a little bit. I think there's a lot of factors that are involved. I think if you're living in the United States, then you can tell that the economy is not where it needs to be. By the way, if you hear the background, my living room, I closed my office door, I'm in my office now, but my living room, I have the TV playing because my dog is taking a nap and he doesn't sleep well in the silence. So I have the TV on for him. So if you hear that in the background, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm hoping this video reaches the right people, and if you're somebody that is going through it, again, if you're living in the US, it's very common to feel this way. I think the economy right now here is just not that great. The job market sucks for a lot of people that are jobless, looking for employment. It's very difficult right now. So money's tight for a lot of people, myself included. I don't like to get too personal or open about my finances, but things haven't been that great. And that's part of the reason why I lost myself a little bit, but I'll get into that later. But yeah, I hope this video finds the right people. One thing I noticed about myself now, looking back, after I've gone to therapy and I've healed myself, well, not healed, we're always evolving as human beings, but looking back now that I'm on the other side of the fence, I think being in a toxic relationship made me lose my spark, and it was the spark that was the center of my confidence. I think that's everybody's spark, okay? Your spark is always the center of your confidence, and when you lose that, it's easy to lose your entire confidence as a whole. For me, being in a toxic relationship really made me lose myself because I put up with a lot of behaviors that I shouldn't have put up with. And I think a lot of people can relate. I think when you're in love, especially when you're young and in love, you are willing to put up with a lot of bullshit that you normally wouldn't put up with, or at least the people around you are probably telling you, why would you put up with this? You know, it's obvious that what this person is doing to you isn't right, but you still allow it. And for me, I mean, I can only speak up on myself. I allowed a lot of bad behavior because I had never known that type of love growing up. I think growing up was difficult because in the moment when I was a kid, you don't really notice a lot of the things that are going on around you until you get older. That's why they call it childhood trauma, because it comes back and bites you in the ass when you're an adult. It was genuinely just not having anyone at home. I remember just coming home from school, and my mom was always working because she was a single mom, so my dad didn't help. My mom was forced to be out of the house a lot working, which unfortunately kind of left me alone a lot during an age where your parents need to be around you, need to show you constant support, physical love as well, and not having that, I think, might have caused me to look for it in the wrong places as I got older. And being in that toxic relationship that I was in, it was bad, you know. He had cheated on me, and then he didn't want to be committed anymore, but then he still wanted to work things out and date me, and I allowed him to take me out on dates, knowing good well that it wasn't going to end or go anywhere from there, but I still allowed myself to play in the fantasy. And the fantasy, I wanted it to come true, and it never came true. And that was mainly me, you know. I'm the one that kind of solidified all these things to happen, knowing that it wasn't going to end well for me, but I didn't care, because in the moment, all I cared about was that instant gratification of temporary love. And knowing that now, I never want to put myself in that position again. I only want to date someone that wants to be with me and wants to give me the love that I deserve, because I have a lot of love to give as well. I'm a lover boy at heart, but I can't be giving that out to just anybody, and that's what I had to learn the hard way. Also, having friends that were emotionally unhinged and unsupportive. Again, it goes back to not having a lot of love growing up, or not feeling like I had a lot of love. I would look for it not just in bad relationships, but also in toxic people. I made a lot of bad choices with the friends that I chose. Some of those friends were just in my life for a brief period of time, and some of them I kept around way longer than I should have. And again, that made me, you know, I got conditioned to accepting these toxic traits in people It was just normal to me. You know, people talk about being in toxic relationships and how their partners make them feel like shit and they like normalize it. But imagine being in toxic friendships too. It's just everything I've always known was just toxic. It was normal to me. So of course I didn't know what else to look for. I didn't know that there were any other options other than that. And yeah, I think I kept attracting that because more and more of those same people, whether it was platonic or romantic, kept coming into my life. And I don't know why. I could sit here and say that they kept finding me. I kept attracting negative energy and negative toxic people in my life, but I also allowed it. Not only did I attract it, but I allowed it. Because I could also argue and say, I could have easily sat there and went, no, I don't want to deal with you, you're toxic, you're bad. But again, I didn't know any better, and I was still craving that love. And I think I should have gone to therapy way earlier in life, but that's a conversation for another video. At the time, I was also living in Orlando. So for those who don't know, I actually moved back down to South Florida. I'm originally from here, from Miami, Florida, born and raised, Miami boy at heart. I currently live in Fort Lauderdale. I'm in the Fort Lauderdale area. South Florida is finally my home. It's where I'm gonna stay. But living in Orlando, not a single friend that I made there could relate to me. I felt so unrelatable, and there's something to be said about that. You know, there's something to be said about being surrounded by people and environments where no one could relate to you, no one could understand you or understand your way of life. And that doesn't make you feel good. That makes you feel very lonely. And at least for me, I felt very alone. Even though I wasn't, because I had people around, not having the right people around you can still make you feel lonely. At least for me, I felt very alone. And it probably wasn't even their fault. Again, when you lack boundaries and you lack that ability to make your own boundaries, you can't really blame other people for doing the bad things that they do, because I did not know how to put an end to certain behaviors, and that's why they continued and continued on. And I actually learned about that in therapy, that friendships could also create trauma. The same way relationships create trauma, relationships with your family, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, all that, friendships do the exact same thing. And I don't think people talk about that enough. And finally, in conclusion, I really do think that living in Orlando was the worst thing I could have done. I talk shit about Orlando as a city. I know there's a lot of people that are born and raised there and they love it there. I know people that move there from my area, from South Florida. They leave South Florida, they go up to Central, and they love it there. It's not for everyone, and it's for some people. You know, it is what it is. It just wasn't for me. And I tried to force myself. Again, I realized this in therapy, that I was running away from my issues. Because I have a long-standing issue with my family and how I was brought up and how I was raised in terms of how I received love, how they gave love to me wasn't the way that it wasn't my love language. And I think that my family just didn't know how to love me the right way. And after being diagnosed with ADHD and all those things, you know, I realize now that it was mainly just me. It was the way that my brain interprets the way that I'm being loved. But moving up north just was not a good thing. I thought I was doing the right thing, but in reality, I was just running away. I was running away from a lot of my issues and my inner demons. And let me tell you, your inner demons, if you don't work with them and try to understand what the root of the problem is, it's gonna keep following you. Your issues will continue to follow you until you sit down, look in the mirror, head on, and think, all right, let me work on this. I had to do a lot of self-exploration, but I also had to do the one thing I didn't want to do, which was take accountability. I had to take full accountability, not full accountability, because there are a lot of other factors and people involved that made a negative impact on me, but I did have to take some accountability and accept that I made this decision. I'm the one that chose to move far away from my friends and family. I chose to move to a city that I've never lived in before and make new friends, and I just didn't know how to make the right friends. I didn't know how to. And I guess it's easy for me to say that Orlando has awful people, and that's why I don't want to say that, because in the beginning I was about to start this video saying Orlando sucks, don't ever go there, but it might have just been my experience. I don't think I attracted the right people, and either way I realized that the older I get, the older my family's getting, and I really don't want to resent them forever. I don't want to have any animosity towards them. At the end of the day, I've had issues and emergencies in my life where my friends were fake as fuck. They were fake as fuck and they weren't there for me, and I had to go to my family with my tail between my legs. and ask for help, and they did. They helped me. And that made me realize no matter what issues you have with family, they're gonna be there. Family is the only one that's gonna be there to really protect you and save you from all the bullshit you put yourself through. So moving back down south has really made me reevaluate my priorities and take my family a bit more serious. And I've had conversations with my family, and I've apologized, and they've apologized for, you know, the stuff that they might have done wrong in the past. We're on a better path now. This holiday season, I'm excited to have dinner with them and just be in a different headspace. Every holiday season, I realize that I'm always negative or bitter at the dinner table, and it's because of my issues that I've never dealt with. And now that I'm dealing with them and working through them, I feel more optimistic about the future with my family and where I stand with my family. I hope that you learned something from this video. I hope that if you feel unseen or if you feel lost in your life right now, just know it doesn't last forever. Sometimes it just starts with you. You gotta make the decision. You can't force anyone to heal. You can't force anyone to change. All you can do is help yourself. And if you want there to be a change, it's gotta start with you. So yeah, I hope that, you know, this video helped anyone out there that was going through it. And, you know, for you, I'm here for you. And you're not alone. There's always someone around going through the same thing, if not worse. And you are not alone. Trust me. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. I plan on posting some vlogs. I did vlog my move, so I will be editing that. I'm editing that right now. It's a lot of footage I gotta put together, but I will be posting that soon. I might have posted it already before this video, or maybe after. I'm not sure. But stick around because I'll be posting more content, and yeah, like, comment, subscribe. By the way, I don't know when I'm posting this video, if it's before or after Christmas, but either way, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.